For centuries, we've been told a comforting story that angels exist to protect us, to guide us, to bring light into a dangerous world. They're painted as benevolent guardians, messengers of peace, symbols of divine care. But when you strip away the art, the hymns, the softened interpretations, and look directly at the oldest texts, a very different picture begins to emerge. One that is colder, more controlled, and deeply unsettling. Across ancient Mesopotamian records, early Jewish writings, Zoroastrian cosmology, apocryphal texts, and Christian scripture, angels appear again and again in one specific role. They watch. They intervene. They restrict. They stand at boundaries. They do not invite humanity forward. They stop us from going too far. Over and over, the pattern repeats. When humans approach forbidden knowledge, forbidden power, or forbidden autonomy, something steps in to block the way. This raises an uncomfortable question. Why would beings of supposedly higher intelligence and spiritual perfection dedicate so much effort to monitoring humanity? In theological texts, angels are constantly observing human behavior, recording actions, delivering warnings, enforcing rules, and administering punishment when limits are crossed. This isn't occasional guidance. It's systematic surveillance. In ancient writings, angels are repeatedly called watchers. The term isn't metaphorical. It describes their function. They observe, they report, they intervene. The Book of Enoch goes into disturbing detail about this system, describing beings assigned to monitor humanity and ensure that certain boundaries are never crossed. If angels are infinitely superior and humanity is insignificant, why the constant attention? Why the detailed record-keeping? Why the repeated interventions whenever humans get too close to certain thresholds of knowledge or capability? Look at the moments when angels appear. They show up when humans attempt to access forbidden information, when civilizations attempt to reach the heavens, when boundaries are about to be crossed. They deliver warnings, enforce limits, and block progress. This is not the behavior of allies. It's the behavior of wardens. The earliest civilizations describe the same structure under different names. In Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki give humanity selected knowledge while withholding other forms of understanding. Laws are imposed. Limits are enforced. Punishment follows disobedience. Later traditions change the names and the symbolism, but the function stays the same. Superior beings regulate human development according to rules humanity didn't choose and can't negotiate. Zoroastrian texts describe cosmic enforcers whose role is maintaining order by preventing transgression. Christianity inherits this system almost intact. Angels watch, report, intervene, and punish. They appear at every major turning point in biblical history, always enforcing limits and redirecting humanity back into approved paths. Even when angels are described as servants or messengers, their actions tell a different story. They don't ask for consent. They issue commands. Mary isn't given a choice. Joseph is instructed, not consulted. Shepherds are terrified and ordered. In Revelation, angels function as executioners, carrying out judgments with mechanical precision. This is not companionship. This is enforcement. Ask yourself something honestly. Have you ever felt watched? Not metaphorically, but instinctively. That sensation that something is observing, evaluating, keeping track. What if that feeling isn't imagination but memory? A deeply embedded awareness shaped by thousands of years of interaction with entities whose primary role is surveillance. So the question returns. Why such intense regulation? One explanation says it's for our protection. Another, far more consistent with the behavior described, is that it's to prevent us from exceeding limits we're not meant to cross. The difference between protection and containment is everything. When you examine the angelic hierarchy, the picture becomes even clearer. What's described isn't a family or a fellowship. It's a bureaucracy. Messengers deliver orders. Archangels govern regions and populations. Powers guard borders between realms. Principalities administer large-scale control. Cherubim guard access points and enforce absolute boundaries. Every role serves regulation, enforcement, or restriction. Notice what's missing. There are no guides whose role is to elevate humanity beyond the system. No allies helping us escape limitation. Every position exists to maintain structure and compliance. The so-called war in heaven begins to resemble a purge. Angels who reveal forbidden knowledge or exceed their authority are removed. In Enoch, fallen angels are punished specifically for teaching humans metallurgy, astronomy, weaponry, and advanced knowledge. Their crime wasn't rebellion for its own sake. It was making humanity more autonomous. The message is clear. Knowledge is rationed. Access is controlled. Humanity is not allowed to decide what it's ready to know.
Strip away the symbolism and look at the structure. A bounded environment, explicit rules, restricted access to knowledge. Humanity is forbidden from gaining independent moral judgment. When Adam and Eve do, they don't die. Their awareness expands. And God's reaction isn't sorrow, it's urgency. Humans must not be allowed to gain immortality as well. Cherubim are stationed with weapons to permanently block return. This isn't just a story about disobedience. It's a containment breach and an immediate lockdown. The same pattern repeats throughout Scripture. The flood occurs when humanity becomes too advanced. The Tower of Babel is stopped because unified humans might become unstoppable. Languages are confused. Populations are scattered. Coordination is destroyed. Every time humanity approaches a certain threshold, intervention resets progress. Now look at modern contact experiences. Abductions, missing time. Beings who take individuals without consent, examine them, regulate reproduction, erase memories, deliver warnings, and return them changed. The pattern is identical to ancient accounts. Only the language changes. Whether the entities are called angels, gods, or extraterrestrials, their behavior is consistent. Monitoring, regulation, genetic intervention, selective contact, controlled disclosure. If one species treated another this way, there would be no debate about the relationship. It would be called containment. The most disturbing continuity appears in genetic regulation. Ancient texts describe unauthorized hybrids being destroyed, while approved genetic intervention is celebrated. Bloodlines are preserved. Others are eliminated. Reproduction is monitored. Modern contact accounts report the same thing. Genetic sampling. Hybridization. No consent. No explanation. This is not guardianship. It's management. Across cultures, spiritual traditions describe guarded gates, portals, and thresholds. Passage requires authorization. Guardians demand credentials. Unauthorized travelers are turned back, harmed, or destroyed. From Eden to the Chinvat Bridge, from Mount Sinai to guarded heavens, the message is universal. Reality has borders. Humans are not free to cross them. Ask yourself why. Why would existence itself be structured to prevent a species from leaving its assigned zone? When you examine the behavior attributed to God in early texts, the pattern becomes even clearer. The relationship is defined by rules, punishment, and exclusive authority. Obedience is demanded. Alternatives are forbidden. Questioning is punished. Angels enforce compliance. This isn't the behavior of a loving guide. It's the behavior of a territorial authority maintaining control over a population within its jurisdiction. So what is Earth? When you remove religious conditioning and look only at behavior, the conclusion becomes unavoidable. Humanity exists inside a controlled system. Physical, genetic, and metaphysical boundaries are actively enforced. Entities operate from outside that boundary to maintain it. Every attempt at escape, autonomy, or true transcendence triggers intervention. Maybe humanity committed no crime at all. Maybe we were placed here. Maybe we're quarantined. Maybe we're resources. Or maybe something within us doesn't belong here, and the system exists to keep it trapped. The most unsettling possibility is this. The discomfort you feel when considering this isn't confusion. It's recognition, a memory pushing through conditioning, a sense that something about reality is fundamentally wrong. If angels are guarding the gates, the real question isn't what they're protecting us from. It's what they're preventing us from reaching. Maybe the first step toward freedom is recognizing that we're not free. Maybe the bars of the cage were always invisible by design. And maybe the reason this idea feels dangerous isn't because it's false, but because it threatens the system that depends on us never seeing it clearly. Question everything, especially the things you were taught never to question. Because if there is an exit, the first step is realizing you're inside something that you were never meant to stay in forever.